Hello again, welcome to my latest video. Well, in this one I'm going to review another webcam, but this one's a little bit different. It's a 4K webcam, and it's really wide, like 7 inches wide based upon the specs that I've read on it. It's from a company called NEXIGO, and full disclosure, I was sent this as a review product. If they want it back, I'll return it back, but we'll see how that goes. But they have nothing to say with how I review it, the conclusions I come up with, or how I present this material to you. So it'll be honest and to the point. Now, in the later part of this video, so stay tuned for that, I'm going to put all of the advanced features to test. And some of them are pretty advanced. For example, it can do zoom up to 10 times in and out. It can do panning, it can do tilting, and it all has a remote control to help you control all that. It can also remember 10 different settings that you may adjust, depending on lighting, depending on how you want it zoomed, depending on how you want it framed. And it has an artificial intelligence engine in it as well. If you turn that function on, it'll automatically center all objects in the frame. Objects being people in this case. So if you're by yourself, it'll center you. If you have somebody with you, it'll center the two of you, and so on and so forth. So we'll try all of that. I'll first use the Microsoft Windows camera utility that comes with Windows 10 and Windows 11. And then I'll also try it out in OBS and maybe compare it to one or two other webcams that I've recently reviewed. So anyway, be on the lookout for that later in this film. So anyway, let's get started and see how it performs. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, a lot of what you're going to see in this video took place on a live stream that I did a few days ago. So if you see the scenery changing or my dress change, you'll know why it's doing that. I've gone ahead and pulled out those segments from that live stream that apply to this camera, and I've put them into this video. So let's see how it all goes. So let me open this guy up. Well, right off the bat, they're giving me a 3-meter cable. This is an interesting one. I noticed that when I was reading the manual, it actually has USB B to A. So what connects to the camera is this USB type B cable. 3.0 though, it is a 3.0. So that's what we have here. It did say 3 meters, so I assume it's about a little over 9 feet. Definitely USB 3.0 according to connector colors. You never know until you actually test it. So that's about a 9-foot cable. I would say that's about right. I'll put that on the side here. Let's get this cushioning out of the way. Here's the manual. But it looks like a pretty complete manual from what I've seen so far. And then what do we got here? The camera itself, I guess. Oh, we got the camera. It is quite wide, that's for sure. There we go. I touched the lens. I hope I didn't smudge it. It's got a standard webcam holder, and it's got a 1/4-inch mount for a tripod. Well, that's good. We'll try that out. And this is a big feature here. This part here. It comes with a remote control. Now, I did see, and let me just verify that that's true, and it is true. They didn't give batteries with it. So I think it's written on the box too, but that's a little surprising. You spend the amount of money that this is going to cost you. You would think they'd give you a couple of AAA batteries. So I did bring some. Oh, it's got a tear here. Let me see how that sounds. Whoops, I completely botched that tear. Oh well. Happens. I did bring some batteries. These are out of my stock of batteries. They're brand new. There we go. We'll test it in a minute. See, anything interesting here? Model number, serial number. Here's the connector for the cable. So I guess what I'll do at this point is I will see if I can hook it up and see what it looks like. It's a hefty connector, that's for sure. Plug it in over here. Main, I'll plug it right here on this PC. The Type A 3.0, which I happen to have right up here. According to this, let me see here. Oh, it did see it. Setting up device, according to my screen. Let me switch to the overhead again, and it says device is ready. NEXIGO N970P 4K. It has a power on switch here. I wonder if that works. Or does it matter? I guess the first thing I should do is see if I can open up a window here. Let me open up a camera. I'll go to the camera utility first. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems for OBS. Switch over to this. It'll be a whole bunch of cameras I'm catching, but that's okay. Let me go over to screen capture. There we go. So let's switch cameras here. Let's see what we got. Oh, there we go. Picked it up. There's my orange juice. I could use a swig of that actually. Let's look around here, see what we got. I'll try to enable it in OBS in a minute. There's my PC up close. How does it look? Looks like it's catching it pretty good. I'll put it on top of a monitor. How's that? Put it up here. Let's see what we get. Okay. Let me see, does this remote work? It's supposed to be an on-screen display. Now that's off. That's why it's froze. Turn it back on again. Okay, so the power button does work. Right, power button over here. Let's see. All of these buttons, by the way, you don't get to call anybody on the phone or anything. They have presets here. I didn't read the manual deep enough yet to find out exactly how you do the presets, but you're supposed to have up to 10 of them, so I guess it sort of makes sense. 1 through 9 and then 0, so there's 10 presets you can do. And there's a button for it. Now, this camera is not autofocus. The manual actually says it, so that focus button there does not do anything. It's a fixed focus camera. But let me see, does the zoom work? Oh yeah, the zoom works. So I'm hitting the zoom button here. Bottom, zoom out. Supposed to be up to a 10 times zoom. How's that? I noticed number 1 was blinking. I guess you can pick multiple cameras with this. Yeah, I think that was what the instructions did say. I didn't focus on that a lot, but you can put up to 4 cameras with the same remote. So I guess there's different types that'll do this as well. It's supposed to be able to do pan and tilt too. Let's see what that does. Let me hit these little arrows here. You know, I might be too close or too far, I'm not sure. Zoom in. Let me see, does that let me then pan? Yeah, you have to be zoomed in for the pan to work. How about the tilt? Yep, it lets you go up and down. So I'm just using these little 4 little arrows here to play around with that. Well, pretty good. Now it has some advanced functions too, which I'm not sure if I'll be able to test it easily today or not. I may have to set it up. You can set it up so the camera will automatically center on the subjects, on the people that it recognizes in the image. And you got to turn on these options. Let me see. I think you got to go into a menu. It has a menu button over here. So, yep, on-screen display. So once you get the on-screen display, you can actually, again, the little arrow keys up and down, you can change your exposure. I guess you hit the center for select. Yep. Right now it's on auto. I can actually change it to manual. Okay. And I went back to auto. Exposure value, the exposure value is off. BLC, you can turn flicker, there's a gain limit, all these options. Wow, let me back up here. How do I get back? Go this way probably. Oh no, I'm hitting the wrong button here. Oh, I gotta jump down to the bottom, is that what I gotta do? Select, change value. How do I get out of this? Hit menu again? Yeah, I gotta hit menu to back up the menu, just like one of those Sony cameras. You can change the color. Image, what do you got here? Brightness, contrast, sharpness. You can flip horizontally. Let me try that. Wow, so it flips horizontally. Let me flip back, flip vertically. I'm gonna go upside down now, I guess, right? Let's see here. Yep, now I'm upside down. Okay. Let me go, turn that off. Black and white mode. Okay, let me see what we got here. Yep, went into black and white mode. That's interesting. I'll get out of that. Change the gamma, low light. Not sure. I'd have to look up all these options. I didn't look them up yet. Open, closed. Okay. Let's hit menu and go back up. The menu is just a little edge here you got to hit. It's sort of like around the edge here. You got to sort of hit that little button right here to switch it. You got noise reduction. You got version doesn't matter. Restore defaults. I may have to do that after I mess it up a little bit. Okay, let's try the AI engine that this thing is supposed to have in it, where it automatically will center the images in the frame. According to the manual, go into the menu, and you go to Setup, the very first choice, and it already says Auto Framing. We'll hit that. Right now it says Close on Auto Framing. If I change that to Open, now Auto Framing is on. One thing to keep in mind with this mode is when you have this enabled, as you see, it automatically did that. I didn't do that. You cannot really use the zoom, the pan, and the tilt functions of the remote control anymore because the actual camera AI engine has taken over. So let me get out of this and I'll show you how this works. So now it's on. Looks pretty normal right now, but watch what happens if I do this. It zooms in, it zooms out, it recenters, it does whatever it has to do to keep the image in the center of it. Now, there was an option to that also in the menu to adjust the sensitivity of it. I left it as at a default. But if I go ahead and I even lean back on this, you got to be careful because it will automatically decide that that's enough of a change that it will zoom in and out on you for. Just tilt over a little bit, zoom over, and it does that in and out. So that's going to take some getting used to. I found before when I was testing it, if you just do something like bring your arm up and do something like this, you could cause it to start changing all over the place. And that can possibly be a little bit annoying, but at least it does its best to keep it in the center of the frame. So I wanted to show you that first off. That's what that option is, and that's how to enable it. I'm going to go ahead now and, well, I'll just leave that on. Why not? As I compare it to some other cameras, and I'm going to do this in OBS. Okay, now I have 3 webcams sitting up on top of the monitor. On the upper left, that's the brand new one, the 4K NEXIGO N970P. As you can see, it's already adjusting the framing. Then on the upper right-hand side, that's the Link Plus camera. That's the one that I reviewed in a previous video. And then in the center bottom, that's the NEXIGO 940, which is a 2K camera. And I've also reviewed that previously, so I wanted you to see all 3 of them together. Now I do have the sound enabled on the 4K and the 2K, so let's listen to it and see what it sounds like. I'll first turn off the lapel mic from my mixer, and then I'll switch over to the 970 next. Okay, here's the sound coming out of the NEXIGO 970P, the 4K camera. How does that sound? We're about 2.5 feet away from it. That's supposed to have dual mics in it. I'm talking quite normal voice, so let's see how it picks that up. Now let me switch over to the 940. Okay, now I'm talking with the sound enabled on the NEXIGO 940, the 2K camera, bottom center. How does that one sound? Well, we could do a comparison at least. Like I said before, I don't have the third one enabled, so I'll leave that one out of the picture for now. Let me switch back to my mixer mic. Okay, now we're back to my original mixer sound. So you got a quick little sample of how these 3 cameras look together. And really the important thing here is how you perceive the view of the new 970p, which is the one that's 4K. As I said before, so far it seems pretty smart and pretty interesting, so I'll do some more testing before I make a decision whether or not I want to have one of those or not.